What is going on, everyone? Casey here, Virginia Gameday, checking in after a big win over Louisville in our first ACC tournament game. I don't think a lot of us thought we'd be sweating it out as much as we did. You know, we're talking about 6-7 point favorites, minus 250 on the money line, some places up to minus 300. I had to, we can't bet on Virginia in Virginia. So I had to do a little fancy footwork with my brother in New York to get some action on the game, but we sweat it out. We sweat it out all the way. When the second half started and Virginia started playing better, he's texted something to me like, "Oh, I like the way it's starting out." I'm like, "Oh shit, did we jinx it? Hopefully, we didn't jinx it." And then I'm like, "Oh, start." It was like deadlocked, and it was deadlocked. And then all the way up until the end. I mean, Jaden Gardner hits 2 free throws with 4 seconds left, and then they come down and launch a half court shot that's made, and we only ended up winning by 1. It was a crazy game. It's a crazy game, and going into the game, I thought there was no doubt Virginia's going to win this game. We're going to win it handily. I was still only took the money line. I wasn't trusting the points, but from the instant the game started and we missed like our first 4 shots, I'm like, it might have been something to play here before, because Virginia won the ACC tournament at the Barclays in 2018. The year Nigel Johnson was on the team, and Kyle Guy and all those guys. But none of the guys who are on this year's squad was on that team. So Barclays is pretty foreign, and they haven't. Louisville had a game already. Virginia hasn't. So I got a little bit scared once the game started, just a little bit. And then, seeing how we were playing, the offense looked real shaky, and it wasn't running as smoothly like, sides usually does. Thank God Key got going. And Jaden is like, there have been games where I wanted kind of Reese to have the ball. Today, it was like, you got to go through the post. If you want to score it today, we have to, give it to Jaden, let him cook, let him make some decisions out of post, and we'll be okay. And so Reese, I said throughout the year, he can really get by his defender whenever he wants. That wasn't the case tonight. Louisville, man, they're like not even a top 100 KenPom defensive team. They played like some studs tonight. That ain't no joke. Their defense looked for real. You watch them play against, Virginia's offense doesn't light the world on fire or anything, but they were locked up. Reese couldn't get Cody couldn't get a look. Every time Caden got the ball, he was getting knocked out of his hands, or they made so many good plays, so many big plays. So, hats off to Louisville. They played their ass off, especially after, having the coach situation, which it was the Virginia beating them that essentially was the last straw to get Chris Mack out of here, got out of there. And then they just lost to him in the last game of the season. They made it close there, but hats off to them. They had a crazy game against Tech, and really this tournament's been great. I mean, if you look at today's games, the first game with Cuse, not a great game, but interesting nonetheless because of the whole Buddy Boeheim situation, right? And then we have overtime game, upset. Boston College knocks off Wake Forest. And I've been rooting for Wake Forest because, they are in a team that's a perennial tournament team, and I kind of just want to see them get there. No, but that's nothing guaranteed now. You lose to Boston College. And hats off to Boston College too, doing their thing. They had some players, first year coach, energy. And then Tech. Full disclosure, I also, had a little bit I liked Tech, and like just straight up money perspective. I was like, they need this game. Clemson played last night. I took Tech on the money line. Luckily, I took them on the money line because they had that game went to overtime as well. And it was the last second 3. And then finally, the Virginia game here. So I just wanted to check in. Yeah, so that brings us to North Carolina tomorrow, which was like a team that completely destroyed us earlier this season. And It's gonna be. We're gonna have to get the real, like A+ game from Poppy and Caden. They were in like the B- range tonight. In the first half, it looked like Caden was just a little bit off. Like the guys in the Caps Corner podcast mentioned that he hit a wall. He's hit a wall this season, and I was like, hey, that makes sense. That's what I'm seeing. Poppy came, made a couple plays. Caden came back in the second half, made some plays. We need that toughness tomorrow against Baycott. They have strong guards. They have range. It's going to be a tough matchup, but seeing, kind of how well our defense played today, forced a lot of turnovers, post traps, getting tips. Our offense can't be any worse tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Our offense can't be any worse tomorrow. So maybe that'll we'll change your fortunes offensively, and maybe we'll hit some threes at least. We didn't make a single 3-point field goal. Only shot 6. Armand Franklin 0 for 8, 0 for 2 from deep. Shouts to Malachi Poindexter. He had a nice little jumper. Great to see. Shout out Stab. I'm not sure what the line is yet. Let me see if Ken Palm's got it up. All right, Ken Palm's got North Carolina winning by 3. So neutral court. North Carolina's a 32 in Ken Palm. That would be a big win for us. So just in terms of our resume, we're one step closer to 20 wins. I've said that we have to get to the ACC tournament championship to get to win the championship, get to the championship game, and I'm feeling okay about our not feeling okay, but I think it'll we're on the next 4 outline according to Lenardi. He's the man when it comes to this. Actually saw him today at the A10 tournament up in DC. So they're like the five spots out. So beat North Carolina, maybe Tech loses. Like this not over yet. It's not over yet. Not by a long shot. Before I go, the biggest play of the game, and it's on Tony, right? So I mentioned a couple minutes ago, it seemed like Reese couldn't get by his guy. It couldn't beat his defender. It wasn't, didn't drive a ton and have clean looks at the basket. So under a minute left, coach draws up a play. He's got a double screen up on the right side. And that's what I'm watching. I'm seeing a double screen being set. And I'm like, hey, what's going to happen here? And Reese just crosses over left. And, they had pulled all the interior defenders out, and he had a wide open layup. And it was just like a beautiful play design. And it was like they're setting up all game. You know what I'm saying? Like Reese, it was a unique play. They hadn't done it yet. And Reese was able to get by his guy. There was no second line of defense, and it was beautiful. And then to boot, Reese ended up making the big play on defense, forcing that Noah Locke traveling call. But big win for the Hoos, 51-50 over Louisville. Can't wait for the game tomorrow. The season's not over yet. At Virginia Game Day, VirginiaGameday.com, all that good stuff. Thanks for checking us out. Go Hoos.